Good morning, this is Phil Thomas from New Era Systems. Today I'm going to make a brief test of a Miteq D-9742 down converter. What's a little bit unusual about this down converter? It converts KU band, that's fine, but the output normally on these things would be 70 megahertz. This particular down converter is 140 megahertz. There are still some older legacy modems that need 140 megahertz, and this down converter will work nicely with those. Normally the input to this down converter would come from an LNA like this. The LNA is attached to the antenna feed, well, to the receive side of the antenna. It takes KU band in and it passes KU band back out through this SMA connector to the down converter. That's where the down converter does its job and converts it back into 140 megahertz IF. Now we're not going to use this LNA this morning. Instead, I'm going to generate the RF frequency using this frequency generator from Agilent, and I'm going to look at the output from the down converter, which should always be 140 megahertz in this particular case. So I'm going to look at the output on that spectrum analyzer. And I'm going to start at the top end of the frequency range, which is 12.75, and one step in the middle, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom end of the frequency range, 10.7, for this down converter, and make sure that it works well across the entire range. Okay, I'm going to connect the cables, and then we can begin the test. Okay, we're ready to start. I've done a couple of things. I have connected the SMA cable directly from the output of the frequency generator into the RF port of the down converter. If you look to the left, you'll see the blue cable. The blue cable is a 140 megahertz IF cable connected directly to the spectrum analyzer. And currently there's nothing turned on, so you don't see any signal. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to make sure that the down converter is set up to accept the top end of the frequency range. The frequency range that we're going to start with is 12.75, and you can see now there's a couple of things on here. Obviously the input 12.75, which would be coming from an LNA normally. IF is shown as 140 megahertz. That confirms everything that we need to know, and the attenuation is set at 0 dB. Attenuation can be set on these things if the input is too hot and you want to calm it down somewhat. You'll set the attenuation on that to decrease the signal. Okay, now let's go over to the frequency generator and turn on the KU band RF signal. Just a single button. As you can see, it's already set up at 12.750. So now we've got the input, and if we look at the spectrum analyzer, we'll see that we have a strong 140 megahertz output, which would normally be going to a modem. Let's make some changes now. I've changed the RF input down to 11.750, about the middle of the range. But if you look to the right of the spectrum analyzer, you don't see anything. The reason is that I haven't set the new frequency on the down converter, so the down converter still thinks it's at the other frequency and it's not going to convert it properly. Changing the frequency on these converters is very easy. I'm just going to do it on the front panel, and I'm going to go from 11.750 to, I'm going to go from 12.750 to 11.750. And press enter. And immediately you can see another good strong signal on the spectrum analyzer. So now we're going to take another step down. I do it first on the converter. The bottom end of the range is 10.70, so let's just do that. 1, 0, 70. Press enter. And again, nothing on the spectrum analyzer, because of course I haven't set the frequency change on the frequency generator. So I'm going to do that now. On the frequency generator, it's set at 12.700, and looking to the right on the spectrum analyzer, there's a nice strong clean signal at once more 140 megahertz, as it should be, and even though we've gone from the top end of the range down to the bottom end of the range, the input level into the spectrum analyzer, which of course would be into a modem or demodulator, the input level is constant across the entire frequency range, which indicates that this down converter is performing exactly as it should do. So from the top, middle and bottom, the output is constant, and that's what we expect in a quality down converter, and Miteq certainly are expensive, but they certainly are good quality as well. So that's it. That pretty well wraps up the very short test today and a look at a KU band to 140 megahertz down converter.